let's see what he could do here, Joe.
Oh, he threw that pretty hard. It's flexing. And that's pretty darn close to the pin.
It's a nice shot. At the very least, he's put some serious pressure on Jamie here.
With a birdie, he sure could, because the 18th hole, that's a hole you can certainly pick up a stroke or two on.
Let's see how Scott does here.
I can't see it from here, but it doesn't appear as though that 17th tee pad has any problems.
There's the culprit making all that noise. See how our man does with the sound of the avionics nearby. Nice little S shot there for some distance. And it looks like he's got a tree a bit in his way there.
Just getting back to Steady Ed Hedrick for a minute. Some say he's the father of disc golf, and I'd have to agree with that, since he was the creator of the baskets that you see out there right now.
Right.
And thank God that he made those things, because what would I be doing?
Sure. So Jamie's got a long shot here. He's got to put some pressure on and get nice and close. And that's a good upshot.
Did you see what he just did there? He did what they call a jump putt.
Right.
It's when you're outside of 10 meters, you can actually lunge your body forward as you're throwing the disc, but you cannot land in front before you let go of the disc first.
Sure.
So it serves its purpose for a lot of players I see use it. Kind of helps them get that distance that they need with the accuracy as well.
But don't you have to have a supporting point behind your mini?
You do have to have the supporting
your
point.
release?
It has to be touching the ground when you let go of the disc. But if you're still holding on to it and your foot hits the ground beyond that marker, then that's considered a foot fault.
I see. Here's Devin trying to put the pressure on. And yes, he makes it.
That was a big putt.
That's a big, big putt.
We got one hole to go, one stroke behind. Very makeable on the next hole.
Yeah, Jamie shouldn't have any problem making his putt after that upshot. He was plenty close. Oh, Scott takes it off the rim.
Scott wasn't happy about that.
Nope.
You got to get it up to get it in, right?
That's
Isn't
right.
that what we said?
Absolutely.
Our man with another par.
Yep.
Down but not out.
Parring along.
Par's not going to get it done today, though.
This is very interesting, Joe. We've got a one-stroke game with one hole left here. After hole 17, Jamie's shooting at 90. Devin's one stroke back at a 94. Scott back at to 91. Scott at a 94. And our man Rogers at a 97. So it's a one-stroke game here. With
Here it
this
is,
one
the
hole
18th
left.
hole.
So what do you think? You think with the distance on this hole that we're going to get some little advantage for Devin?
Devin certainly has an advantage. I mean, look at the power he has compared to Jamie. If he can outthrow Jamie by 100 feet, it could be all the difference in the world.
Sure. Having shot that bird, Devin has the box here. He'll be throwing first. Apparently doesn't like the disc he's chosen, or nope, it's just a little too wet. He needs to dry it off first. He's got a lot riding on these shots on this hole, Joe, so he's taking every precaution to make sure he does what he needs to do.
Well, Devin's the object for him here is to just focus in and get a birdie 3 and try to force a playoff and hope that, Jamie can only manage to get a par.
Right.
That looked like a pretty long shot.
Yep.
Let's see where Jamie can manage his first shot. He might be feeling the pressure. Well, he's got a lot of height, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get distance.
Right.
And he's off in the rough, which is not going to help his footing.
Good point, Joe. Let's see how Scott Howard can do here. Scott looked like came off his hand early. He might have been a little bit wet disc there, Joe.
Yeah. He's having some issues late here in the round. And Mr. Steady.
As we would expect, our man lets it rip right down the middle and then dead center in the middle of the fairway. How about that, Joe?
What do you expect from a veteran? He's the only one who hit the fairway.
All right, let's see what we got here now.
Devin's shooting first, I believe. And that's a pretty good shot right there. It's got a lot of juice on it. And
Wow, that's a beauty.
That's an excellent shot.
So yeah, I guess Devin's shot was furthest away. Scott way off to the left here. It's a more difficult shot to bring it in.
Yeah, that wasn't a very good shot right there for
some,
Scott.
Some work to do left there.
He's got at least 45 feet to the pin.
Here's our man who's dead center of the fairway.
That's stuck in the ground.
Yeah, how about that?
Ground's
Must be
pretty
falling
soft
pretty
out
good
there.
out there, Joe. And
Jamie,
look at this. Jamie actually had the longest drive, huh?
He did have the longest drive. And he needs to just keep it underneath the branches and avoid those trees. They're spread out, you know, sparsely, but a very manageable shot from where he's at.
So he's got to keep it low, and it looks like he's done just that, Joe. Almost a little too low.
Maybe too low.
He lost some distance there.
He's definitely have a putt that he can make, but he's not where he wants to be.
Well, I think the door's open here. That's going to be a tough putt to make, and Devin's a lot closer, but we'll see what happens.
Sometimes what happens, Big Dog, is you might get the best drive, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have the best score at the end of that hole.
Right.
So, you know, it all really comes down to who can putt. Here's Scott Howard. He's got about a 45-footer here.
Oh, yeah. That wasn't the effort he wanted, I think.
That wasn't real good.
So Jamie's got some distance to cover here too. This is critical for him. He needs to make this shot to ensure. Nope, underneath the basket.
He was kind of nonchalant about that, knowing that, you know, Devin's sitting pretty close to the basket there, maybe 15 feet. You got to make a very aggressive attempt to make that putt.
All right, so Scott gets out. Our man for his par. And he makes it.
All in all, not a bad round for Ray. You know, I mean, he is in his 50s, and he hung in there with these guys for a little while.
So Devin here's got to make this putt. He's going to probably take a little. Well, no, he went right at it, Joe, and sure enough, he sunk it.
Well, there was no doubt about that.
So that
he had
makes
a couple of putts earlier in the round where you noticed he didn't finish them off. Like on hole number 10, he left that one a little bit wide, and it cost him a stroke. Right. He wouldn't be going into a playoff right now.
Right. So Devin with a 94, Jamie King also with a 94, so they're tied. Scott Howard ends at 98 in third place, and Ray R-Man Rogers in fourth at a 101. So Joe, with that birdie, Devin finds himself now tied with Jamie, going to be forcing a playoff hole here. I understand that that's nothing new for Jamie on this course. Weren't you hosting a show where we saw him in another playoff?
Yes, you did. Back in 2005, we witnessed him birdie hole number 2 here in the long pin position. to win a playoff